A commercial ship of the 4th century BCE plies these familiar sea routes, coming from the Pillars of Hercules and leading for Cyprus with an interim stop at the famous city of Corinth. The boat will go into the Gulf of Corinth, unload at Lechaion, the city's northern port, be carried across the Isthmus on the Diolkos, launched again in the Saronic Gulf, reload its cargo at the southern port of Corinth, Kenchreai, and sail east. One quiet morning, this ancient ship reaches the southern coast of the Gulf of Corinth. Some sailors are playing a game of astragali, knucklebones. Others are walking. There is always a need for last-moment repairs. This gives us the opportunity to study the strong hull of the ship, the sturdy plating first, and the frames and stringers on the inside. Our ship approaches the coast of Lechaion. From a technical viewpoint, Lechaion was a unique port due to the strong northerly winds. There were no external port structures. The entire harbor was excavated deep inside the land. Our ship is now oared slowly into this port. It heads for the inside quay, where the merchants eagerly waited. Even then, the profits from sea trading were very high. The ship draws alongside. Now we will tie the mooring lines to the bollards and drop the stone anchors so that the unloading can begin. First off the ship are the general trade goods. These can be placed in a net and hoisted using a simple single-boom crane. It is worth stopping here for a closer look of this ancient machine, an example of which had been used to build the Parthenon. We can see the boom, the ropes that hold it up, the counterweights at the back, and the winches for turning the wooden pulleys and hoisting the load. The second type of cargo was jars, full of produce from Magna Graecia, while the most valuable items were tin ingots from Iberia. We should remember that the ancient crateroma, the bronze that is, contained about 10% of tin, which was very expensive, and almost 90% copper. Once the ship is unloaded, the captain, true to the old custom, goes to worship at the temple of Isthmian Poseidon outside the city walls. They are met at the precinct of the sanctuary. They admire the frieze of the temple. And go inside to see the exquisite statue of the god. It is getting dark, and our sailors end up at the Kapilion, the wine shop, where the diluted Corinthian wine will take the edge of their troubles. This particular evening, the wine shop provides instrumental music with the hydravlis, the pipe organ, a miracle of ancient Greek technology. Let us take a moment to see how this water organ worked. A piston pump sends water into a chamber and traps a pocket of air at its bottom. The compressed air rises and fills a horizontal pipe under the keys, and every time a key is pressed, a perforated slider moves and allows the compressed air to enter the corresponding pipe and produce the desired sound. The art of the engineer at the service of the musician's art. The new day dawns. The crew cleans the empty hold. And the ship sets off. As it leaves the port, we see a typically human scene taking place. Let us hope that this love story will have a happy ending. The ship now heads for a point on the northern coast of the Peloponnese, where the canal was to be opened later. It goes into a small harbor where it will be lifted out of the sea and onto a suitable platform which will carry it along the Diolkos to the Saronic Gulf. Here, the ship approaches a ramp where a large wooden frame awaits to receive the keel and protect it as the whole assembly is dragged over the sand using suitable ropes. Now we see our ship sitting on the frame and coming slowly out of the water with aid of fixed winches. The ship is on dry land. Now, all movable parts must be removed to reduce weight. Oars, tools, sails, masts, and so on are taking off. A combination of winches turns the ship in the direction of a loading wall, on which the ship will be hoisted. This wall survives to this day on the grounds of the Military School of Engineering. The ship, together with its frame, is pulled onto the wall. Waiting in the same direction is the Diolkos, the 8-wheeled mobile platform, which will finally carry the ship. At this stage, they need to remove the frame little by little, and using large wooden wedge blocks to ensure the ship's lateral stability. Now, before the start of the land journey, the toll must be paid, and it seems quite expensive. The Diolkos now rolls on the Diolkos, which is a carefully made road paved with large slabs of stone. The gradient of the road is small, it rarely goes above 3%. Here we see the route of the Diolkos. Several sections survive to this day of this Diolkos. It follows roughly the same path as the modern canal. Note how the wheels of the Diolkos move in grooves cut into the stone, which allow the vehicle to follow the wide bends of the road without difficulty. We are watching the representation of an outstanding achievement of ancient Greek technology. For about 1,500 years, through this land road of ships have traveled thousands of commercial and war ships. The Diolkos reaches the highest point of the Diolkos at an altitude of just 80 meters. Here we have a view of the Corinth, the famous ancient city of Corinth. At its foot enjoys the fruits of all productive processes like the one we are watching. The procession makes a brief stop at a Corinthian fountain like the one we see here, a perfect combination of ancient Greek technology and aesthetics. The road now goes slightly downhill. The workers move behind the Diolkos and use the ropes to hold it back, while others pour wet sand in the Diolkos' grooves to increase rolling frictions. covered the entire length of the Diolkos, 35 Attican states, or about 6 kilometers, and we have reached the port of Schinous, today's Kalamaki, on the Saronic Gulf. The process of hoisting onto dry land is now reversed as the ship is launched into the sea. The wedges are removed and the hull is placed again on a wooden frame. Using fixed winches, frame and ship are dragged to the ramp. There, the ship is rigged again. All the equipment, the oars and the sails go back on board. And the mast is carefully and firmly erected against the bottom of the hull. A small push from the back, and the ship slides down the ramp. It goes back into the water to continue the journey to the nearly southern port of Corinth, the so-named Kenchreai. Kenchreai was to flourish and develop later. At that time, however, in the 4th century BCE, it was only a small port. More merchants await the ship here. This time it will carry some famous Corinthian amphorae. They will be traded for a load of copper in Cyprus. It is there that our ship is heading now, sailing past the Cape of Sunion on the way. It is a long voyage, made possible thanks to the combined technologies of engineering and shipbuilding, but also thanks to the unique project of Greek antiquity, the Diolkos, which operated for no less than 1,500 years.